The Bride Who Never Came Home. On the 22nd of March, 2024, a 23-year-old woman named Harshita stood in a farmhouse on the outskirts of Delhi, dressed in red, surrounded by everyone she loved. She was marrying a man named Pankaj, a man her family believed had built a good life for himself in London. No one in that room could have imagined that within 8 months, that same bride would be found dead, folded into the boot of a car on a quiet English road. This is the story of how a wedding meant to be the beginning of a dream became the end of a life. Before we continue, if this story moves you, share it. By the end, you'll understand exactly why that matters. Part 1. The Girl Who Wanted to Teach. Harshita grew up in Nazar Colony, near Palam village in Delhi, the youngest daughter of Satbir Singh, a driver, and the sibling everyone in the family doted on. Those who knew her describe a girl who was gentle, sharp-witted, and full of warmth. From a young age, she wanted one thing: to become a teacher. She followed that dream methodically. She finished school at Pratibha Vikas Vidya, then earned an honors degree in Hindi literature from Sri Venkateswara College, Delhi University. She went on to complete her B.Ed at Maharshi Dayanand University. Those who taught alongside her, and the parents of the children she tutored, remember her dedication. She wasn't just qualified, she cared. She was close to her elder sister Sonia, in the way only siblings who've shared every secret can be. When Sonia married into a good family, the only thing left on her parents' minds was finding the same kind of security for Harshita. Part 2. The Proposal from London. The match came through a trusted family connection, a young man named Pankaj, a year or two younger than Harshita, originally from Haryana, said to be working a well-paying job at a respected company in London. To a family that had never questioned the source of the introduction, it looked like the perfect alliance. A settled groom abroad, a good family background, and for Harshita, a chance to pursue teaching in a country she believed would open doors her own hadn't. The families moved quickly, the way many NRI marriages do. In August 2023, Pankaj flew to India on a short break, and the couple had a court marriage, a common first step that lets the visa process begin. He returned to London afterward, and 8 months later came back again for a full traditional Hindu wedding, celebrated with all the ceremony a family can offer a daughter they love. Weeks after the wedding, Pankaj went back to the UK. Harshita's own visa came through soon after, and by April 2024, she'd joined him in Corby, a town in Northamptonshire, England, the place he already called home. Part 3. The life she thought she was building. For a while, it looked like the future she'd hoped for. She adapted to a new country, made friends, and using the degrees she'd worked so hard for, found a job at a distribution center. She was working, contributing financially, running a household, and by every account, trying to be a full partner in the marriage. Friends recall a woman who still seemed hopeful, still talked about teaching one day. But somewhere behind that life, another one was unfolding. One the people who loved her knew nothing about. The man she'd married for his career in a good company wasn't working in one at all. Pankaj was delivering pizzas on a student visa, not the settled professional his family had described. When Harshita eventually told her parents this, they were stunned, but by then, there was little to be done. She pushed the disappointment aside and focused on her work. It wasn't long, though, before something far darker began. Part 4. The Violence Behind Closed Doors. According to Harshita's later statements to police, Pankaj began demanding money from her under the guise of dowry, and took control of her bank accounts. He restricted who she could see, cutting her off from friends. The abuse was not only financial, it was physical, and it was constant. Like many women in similar situations, Harshita didn't tell her family at first. She hoped it would pass. But on the 29th of September, 2024, the violence escalated sharply. She tried to flee the house. He caught her and beat her again. That night, she finally called her father. What followed devastated the family in India. A father who had to imagine, from thousands of miles away, what his daughter's face and body must look like. He told her, gently but firmly, to reach out to someone she trusted and get out of that house. She called a close friend and moved in with her that same evening. It was during this period that the family learned something that made the entire situation even more tragic. Harshita had been pregnant. The prolonged physical and emotional trauma had caused her to lose the child. That same night, she reported Pankaj to Northamptonshire police for domestic violence, describing in a written statement the physical and psychological abuse, the financial control, and being forced to work excessive overtime. Part 5. A system that tried, and a woman who was talked out of it. To their credit, the police acted fast. Pankaj was arrested on the 3rd of September 2024 and briefly jailed, though he was released on bail within 2 days. A domestic violence protection order was issued, barring him from contacting Harshita for 28 days. Officers assigned her to caseworkers who checked on her regularly and relocated her to a new address within walking distance of her old one for safety. Harshita, by all accounts, had made up her mind. She told her family she would not go back to him, that if she did, he would kill her. Terrified, her parents urged her to come home to India. But because she had an active legal case in the UK, she couldn't leave the country until it was resolved. Then, once the 28-day order expired and Pankaj had paid his fine, he began working through relatives to reach her, arranging a conference call, pressuring her to withdraw her complaint. She did. It would prove to be the most consequential decision of her life. Almost immediately, Pankaj re-entered her life, calling constantly, promising a fresh start, asking her for money under the excuse that his arrest had made it hard to find work. Slowly, she began to believe him again. She had no way of knowing what was actually running through his mind. Part 6. The Last Meeting. On the 10th of November, 2024, Pankaj asked Harshita to meet him at Corby's Boating Lake, close to her home. They walked together for a long while. Believing he'd genuinely changed, she invited him back to the house. She called her family on video that evening, telling them cheerfully that Pankaj was coming over for dinner, and that she was cooking. None of them knew it would be the last time they ever spoke to her. Part 7. The Silence. The next day, the 11th of November, her family's calls went unanswered. Her phone was switched off. No replies to messages. They assumed she was busy, or out with her husband. By the 13th, the silence had gone on too long. Her father called, his voice already uneasy. "You didn't call today. Is everything all right, Beta?" By then, the family already sensed something was deeply wrong. Satbir Singh filed a missing persons report. Part 8. The Investigation. When police pulled Harshita's file, the domestic violence complaint from weeks earlier immediately made Pankaj their prime suspect. Investigators went to her registered address. She wasn't there. Neither was Pankaj, and his silver Vauxhall Corsa was missing too. Using automatic number plate recognition technology, police traced the car. On the morning of the 14th of November, they found it parked near Alf. On Bracebridge Road, the vehicle was empty. When officers opened the boot, they found Harshita's body inside. Based on the state of the body, investigators estimated she had been dead for 3 to 4 days. When the news reached her family in Delhi, it broke them completely. The post-mortem, released on the 15th of November, confirmed the time of death. Between 7 and 8 p.m. on the 10th of November, the night of the dinner she never got to serve. The cause of death was strangulation. Part 9. The Manhunt. News of the murder spread across England. Under mounting pressure, forensic teams combed through Harshita's home for evidence, while detectives pulled CCTV footage from the surrounding area. One clip, time-stamped around 9 p.m. on the 10th of November, showed a man in a black jacket loitering near the property, appearing to wait for someone. His face, investigators noted, visibly tense. It was Pankaj. A second clip, from the following morning, the 11th of November, showed him walking along Jeffcott Road in Alf, wearing a light green jacket and carrying a black bag, heading toward a train station. It would be the last CCTV image UK police ever captured of him. His photograph was circulated to police stations nationwide. And then came the discovery investigators had feared most. Pankaj had left the country on the 11th of November, the same day. Using his Indian passport, the timing made one thing clear. This hadn't been a moment of blind rage. It had been planned. UK authorities alerted Indian law enforcement through Interpol. Delhi police informed Harshita's family soon after. Part 10. Back in Delhi. Satbir Singh immediately filed the complaint at Palam Village Police Station, accusing Pankaj and his family of dowry harassment, alleging that his in-laws had pressured them into giving dowry, forcing them to sell property to meet the demands. Delhi police booked Pankaj's relatives under charges, including cruelty to a married woman and criminal breach of trust, and sent some of them into custody. But Pankaj himself remained at large. Police declared him a wanted fugitive, issuing posters and a reward of 50,000 rupees for information, leading to his capture. Investigators believe he reached Delhi around the 12th of November. Months later, on the 4th of March, CCTV footage caught him withdrawing cash from an ATM in the city. On the 22nd of March, police recovered a mobile phone linked to him from a rickshaw driver, proof that he was still moving through Delhi, undetected, months after the murder. Part 11. A family still waiting for justice. As of now, despite an active manhunt, Pankaj Lamba has not been found. Sonia, Harshad's sister, has gone before the courts accusing police of negligence in failing to apprehend him, and has pushed for the case to be handed to India's Central Bureau of Investigation, driven partly by fear that a man capable of this, walking free in a city like Delhi, could pose a danger to her own family next. While UK authorities have publicly confirmed Pankaj is the prime suspect in Harshita's murder, his own family, remarkably, still refuses to believe he could have done it. Closing. Pankaj Lamba had, by most measures, everything a person could want: a partner, a family, a future ahead of him in a new country. And yet he is accused of taking a life, and with it, the unborn child that same violence had already cost once before. Harshita's father put it simply: "I can't go there myself. But someone, please, get justice for my daughter." It's a familiar, painful truth that cases like this often disappear under the weight of backlogs and time, but every share, every view, keeps a case like this from being forgotten. And sometimes, that's the difference between a fugitive staying free and a fugitive being found. If this story affected you, share it. That's the one thing every person watching can actually do. Wait for the next upcoming thrilling story. Stay happy, stay safe, and watch your surrounding always. Like and share unexpected events. They can happen anywhere, anytime. Over and out.